talking about one of the most overlooked summer custody manipulation tactics I see in family court. It's perfectly legal if your custody order doesn't address it. And if you're not careful, it can quietly rob you of valuable parenting time every single summer. I'm Tiffany Lesnik, domestic violence survivor and family law attorney and founder of Live Free Legal, where I help women navigate family court with wisdom, strategy, and confidence. Before we jump in, if these videos are helping you understand the family court process, would you do me a huge favor? Please hit the like button and subscribe to this channel. We're working towards our first 1,000 subscribers, and every subscription helps YouTube recommend these videos to women who desperately need this information but don't even know it's out there. Now, let's talk about one of the sneakiest summer custody tricks there is. It looks fair until you do the math. Let's use a simple example. Your parenting plan says each parent gets one uninterrupted week of vacation. Sounds fair. But here's what often happens with abusers. Dad already has his regular weekend. Instead of starting his vacation on Monday, he starts it Friday. Now instead of 7 days, he has 9. Or his vacation ends on Friday. Then his normal weekend begins. So now again, those 7 days become 9 days. But here's where it gets even worse. He attaches his vacation to both his regular weekend before and after his regular weekend. Now, his 1 week vacation has quietly become 11 straight days in a row. I've even seen situations where holiday schedules are added in. Maybe he takes his vacation over 4th of July weekend or Memorial Day weekend. Sometimes his vacation will last even longer. And many parents don't realize what's happened until they're staring at the calendar wondering why they barely get to see their children all summer long. So is this illegal? Not necessarily. That's what surprises people, right? Most custody orders simply say each parent shall receive 1 week of uninterrupted vacation, but they never define when vacation begins, when it ends, whether it can be combined with regular parenting time, whether weekends count, whether vacation supersedes regular custodial time. Those missing details create opportunities for abusers to take away your time. And people who thrive on control love those kind of loopholes and opportunities. Some people watching may think, so what? It's only a couple extra days. But let's think about this differently. Those extra days sometimes can often include holidays like 4th of July, perhaps birthday celebrations. If you have a child that's born in the summer, is he taking his vacation during your child's birthday every year? Maybe you have a family reunion that's planned that he knows about in advance. Is he choosing to take his vacation during your scheduled family reunion or during a time he knows you have a family reunion in order to interfere with that? Maybe you have vacation traditions of your own. Perhaps you take the children the first week of July or the first week of August every year on a hiking trip or a camping trip or a beach trip or something like that. Now suddenly he is electing to take his vacation every week that same year. Maybe you have scheduled time with their grandparents. The children every year do something special with their grandparents at a specific time, or they have church events, activities, or a camp that they enjoy going to every single year with their friends. Especially if you have children who are neurodivergent or maybe who have some specialized issues, there may be some camps that are really important for their developmental skills or enrichment activities, and he's now selecting those weeks or those days for his vacation time. So those aren't just days, right? These are opportunities for our children. These are memories for our children. They're memories for us. And these are moments that you'll never be able to get back. And when this happens every single summer, those days are going to add up. This pattern isn't about vacation, it's about control. So here's something I've learned after years in family court. When someone consistently pushes every gray area in the order, it's usually not about needing more parenting time. It's about winning. It's about taking. It's about making sure you get less. That's an entirely different mindset, okay? Healthy parents ask, what's best for my children? High conflict parents or abusive parents ask, what's the most I can get away with? And that is a huge difference. So how do you protect yourself? What can you do? The best time to solve this problem is before it happens. If you're negotiating a custody agreement, a parenting agreement, or a custody order, consider including language like, vacation time shall not be added immediately before or after a parent's regularly scheduled custodial period unless both parties mutually agree in writing. Another option is vacation time shall consist of 7 consecutive 24-hour periods only, or the exercise of vacation shall not extend either parent's regularly scheduled parenting time. You could also say something like, their vacation time must include their regularly scheduled custodial weekend or their regularly scheduled custodial week, especially when you have a schedule that switches to a week on, week off over the summer. I have seen it where abusers will elect to take mom's week of vacation, so now they've got their week, their regular custodial week, week on, week off. Then they get mom's week for their vacation. Then they get their week for the week on, week off. And if they get 2 weeks of vacation in a court order, sometimes they'll elect that next week as well. And they end up getting 5 weeks in a row with the children because they get their week on, then they get their week of vacation, then they get another week on, then they get their week of vacation, and then they're back to their week on again. So just something to be aware of. You could put a cap in there that says neither parent shall have more than 2 consecutive weeks of custodial time at a time, or something to that extent. These simple sentences eliminate enormous conflict. And then you might want to include things about 4th of July or holidays or family reunions or traditions or birthdays, right? You could put something in the court order that says, this parent receives the first week of August every year for their annual camping trip. Be thinking about what is important to you, what are your traditions, what do you normally do, and build that into your order so you have that protection. So what do you do if you already have an order? Well, first of all, don't panic, okay? Read your order carefully and ask yourself, does it clearly define vacation? Does it explain when vacation begins? Does it explain whether regular weekends are included? Does it address exchanges? If not, start documenting. And then, if necessary, you could always file a motion to modify custody if summertime and vacations become extremely stressful for your children. It becomes a really big problem. You could file a motion to modify child custody. And if you have the documentation and the evidence, you'll have a clear record showing exactly how the ambiguity in the court order is repeatedly creating conflict and causing distress for your children. So one more thing, don't assume flexibility will always be reciprocated. One of the biggest mistakes I see is parents saying, I was just trying to be nice, right? There's nothing wrong with cooperation. We absolutely want to be cooperative. It makes us look more credible. It puts our children first in most circumstances. And healthy parenting requires flexibility. But flexibility should be intentional, not exploited. If you are making exceptions, put those exceptions in writing. State that they are temporary and make it clear they don't permanently change the parenting schedule. Those few sentences may save you months of litigation later. Also, keep in mind that just because you're flexible doesn't necessarily mean he's going to be. So when you need to ask for a change or additional time, don't expect him to necessarily say yes. There's a good likelihood he's going to be stubborn, or he's going to be non-responsive, or he's going to say no. So summer should be about making memories, not arguing over calendars, not counting days, and not wondering whether someone manipulated the schedule again. Unfortunately, when dealing with a controlling or abusive co-parent, even something as joyful as vacation planning can become another battlefield. The good news: knowledge changes everything. When you know what to look for, you can negotiate smarter, draft better parenting plans, and protect your time with your children before conflict begins. If this video helped you, please leave me a comment below. Have you ever experienced an ex who somehow turned 1 week of vacation into 2 or more? I'd love to hear your experience, because your story may help another parent realize that they're not alone. And if you haven't already, please hit like, subscribe to Live Free Legal, and share this video with another mom who needs to see it. Our goal is to reach 1,000 subscribers, and every single click helps us reach more women with practical family court education and hope. Remember, don't just read your court order, read the loopholes. Because sometimes the battle isn't over the vacation, it's over the calendar. And the calendar can become a tool of control if you're not prepared. I'll see you next time, Tuesday, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on Live Free Legal at YouTube.